Tumia Bima Pap kwa kupiga *150 *51 alama ya reli au kwa WhatsApp tuma neno Bima Pap kwenda namba 0764166066 ujipatie bima.
Bima Pap, urahisi wa maisha.
Our plan's really there to discuss this latest economic update. We've seen great progress in terms of growth, reforms, especially the last couple of years. But I think the essential message is that to sustain that level of growth, there are certain structural challenges that need to be addressed, and that it's very much the private sector that is the engine of growth. If we put the right platform in place, the aspirations we have to get back to growth rates of 6-7% are very much achievable.
Maybe what are those challenges, and what are you planning as the private sector to pioneer to make sure that in one way or another you get involved to improve the outcome?
All right. So I think as private sector, we have our own responsibility to come to the table, contribute ideas, whether it's around the challenges on regulation and policy. But there are other areas that are highlighted in the report around prompt payment, whether it's to subcontractors, VAT refunds, but also just challenges in terms of the broader social provision. You'll recall that our population has grown very significantly. If we are to have real per capita growth, we also need to invest in human capital, so education, health, and those kind of areas.
So first of all, let me thank the CEO Roundtable for inviting us to participate in this event this evening. Of course, for the World Bank, we strongly believe in a robust private sector, and we're very excited for the opportunity that the government has given us to partner with them to help advance the enabling environment for the private sector. As you know, in our recent Tanzania economic update, we are fairly positive about the outlook for Tanzania. First and foremost, we believe the macroeconomic situation in Tanzania is solid today. As we can see, the growth from 2022 increased to 4.6%, and this is a sign of positive future opportunities. The government has rightly decided to focus on the development of the private sector in its over the coming years, and has requested our assistance in that. To that end, we are doing whatever we can to help on the enabling environment, most notably in terms of the regulations and investment act, among other things. And we commend them for that, and we'll continue to work closely with the authorities, but also in close consultation with the private sector to make sure we understand the issues and try and work with all concerned to improve the enabling environment.
We see the government of Tanzania is doing much in terms of the policy and some other regulations. What is your call to the private sector to really take advantage of that?
Well, I think it's, as was rightly said by the chairman, I think it's a collective action, right? The government certainly has to put in place an enabling environment that's friendly, that encourages investment, that protects investment, but at the same time we need to see responsible action on the part of the private sector in terms of growing strong businesses, creating jobs that are good jobs, high quality jobs, doing whatever we can to create value addition within the country, as well as to ensure that there's open access and opportunities for all who want to come and invest in Tanzania. There's, first of all, there needs to be the right enabling environment for the private sector to develop. And for that, we have a budget support program that the government has collaborated, engaged with us on, with a specific pillar dedicated to the business environment. So that's clearly a commitment from the government to undertake reforms that are in support of the private sector. So that's on the reform and in the enabling environment part. At the same time, the government's committed to undertaking those aspects of public good that support the work of the private sector. For example, in energy, expansion of energy access, the cost of energy, in terms of infrastructure, transport, etc. In terms of human capital, as was rightly said, the private sector needs trained labor force, and in order to do that, there has to be the institutions, there has to be the mechanisms to grow the talent that this country has. And the government is undertaking significant investments in primary, secondary, and tertiary education, and we are investing quite a bit on that. We're the largest investor supporter of the government in the education sector, and we believe that this is very important because it's the future of the country, it's the future of the labor force for the private sector and for the country. So I think collectively with government and private sector, a lot can happen.